Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The legal voters of the Regional Technical District School District are hereby warned to meet at the Hannaford Career Center, Middlebury, Vermont, in said district on March 1st, 2017 at 7 p.m. to transact and vote on the following business. Article 1, to elect the following officers. A moderator.
Nominate Dick Thodel.
I second that.
Any other nominations? Those in favor of Dick Thodal, please say aye.
Aye.
You have elected a moderator. A treasurer. Do I hear nominations for treasurer?
Nominate Gail Beck.
Gail Beck has been nominated.
Jane Beck.
Jane
Jane
Beck.
Jane Beck.
Second.
Any other nominations? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
You have elected Jane Beck as treasurer. C, a clerk.
Nominate Linda Barrett.
I'll second that.
Other nominations? Those in favor of Linda Barrett, please say aye.
Aye.
You have elected Linda Barrett as clerk. Article 2, to hear and act upon the reports of the treasurer and auditors of the district. What is your pleasure on Article 2?
Move to accept the report as presented to us earlier.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the reports of the treasurers and auditors. Any further discussion?
Those reports are found in the annual report of the district.
Any further discussion? Those in favor of Article 2, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have adopted Article 2. Article 3, to see if the voters of said district will vote to authorize its board of directors to borrow money pending receipt of payment from member districts by the issuance of its notes or orders payable not later than 1 year from date for the purpose of paying the sum approved by the voters.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and accepted moved and seconded to accept Article 3 as written. Discussion on Article 3. Hearing none, those in favor of adopting Article 3 as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have adopted Article 3. Article 4, to see if the voters of the district will vote to pay a stipend to each voting member of the Board of Directors not to exceed $600 per member per year. Stipend will be prorated based on the number of warned board meetings attended.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion on Article 4. Hearing no discussion, those in favor of adopting Article 4, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have adopted Article 4. Article 5, to see if the voters of the said district will vote to authorize its board of directors to place $107,168 of the fiscal year 16 unreserved fund balance in the Building and Equipment Reserve Fund. What's your pleasure on Article 5?
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Discussion on Article 5. Would anyone like to clarify what this money in the and the Building and Reserve Fund are, just for anyone who might want to have that information?
The question is what they are or what are they going to be used for?
Well, I guess a little bit of both.
What they are fiscal year 16 carryover funds that were left unspent in the FY 16 budget. The options there are to return those funds to the taxpayers or to bring them before the voters at the annual meeting to vote to put into the Building and Equipment Reserve Fund. So that's why it's on that article. what will they be used for? They will be used for general maintenance and improvement of the capital facilities and to purchase necessary equipment for individual programs.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion on Article 5?
So there isn't a specific capital need for this money?
There are several specific capital needs for the money. There is a subcommittee of the board that is the facilities committee that develops a budget for the use of these funds each year. Those include everything from equipment shed at North Campus, air conditioning for the room that we're in, the front walk, replacement of the front walk, anything else from facilities committee? Those are some of the items.
Conversion of our boilers to natural gas or oil burners.
Further discussion on Article 5? If not, those in favor, or go ahead, Laura.
So, I mean, have you had an energy audit done of the building to know I know about the furnace probably being old and needing to be replaced, but in terms of biggest bang for buck, I'm just wondering about the use of the capital reserve money for what could be the bigger bang for the buck.
Yes, we have had energy audits.
And what does it reveal?
We've replaced all the windows, for example, in this building. The energy audits, we do those pretty consistently. One of the things are the air handling units here. So our electrical needs as well as our, efficiency needs. Replacing motors with higher efficiency. We've replaced all of the lighting in both buildings with efficiency light bulbs. I'm trying to think, one of the things that we're doing, we're not replacing boilers, Laura, I'm sorry if you misinterpreted that. What we have to do to convert to natural gas is to replace the burners in not only the boilers in this building, but the boilers at North Campus. We also, from this fund in the past, we have done solar panels at North Campus.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion on Article 5? If not, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have adopted Article 5. Article 6, to see if the voters of said district will vote to authorize its board of directors to use funds in the Building and Equipment Reserve Fund for capital improvements and program equipment. What's your pleasure on Article 6?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It seems like Lynn may have covered this, but is there further?
Just as an explanation, by state law, the voters need to vote to put that into the fund, but they also need to authorize the board to spend out of that fund. Otherwise, it would just set in the fund. Or it would have to take, you would have to have special meetings each time you use funds out of there. The board has also set executive limitations on that fund. The superintendent is allowed to spend up to $5,000 for emergency kinds of things and move $5,000 around within the budget. The facilities committee is allowed to spend up to $15,000, and any item that goes above $15,000 would take action by the full board. But what you're doing here with Article 7, MI 7-6, is having the voters approve what I just said, that we can spend out of that account.
Further discussion on Article 6? If not, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have accepted Article 6. Article 7, to see if the voters of said district will authorize the board to make changes to the bylaws to accommodate some name changes associated with a consolidation of the sending school districts.
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
This is just with regard to ACSU, the consolidated.
ACSD, Northeast and Northwest. All
All
three.
right, all,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's also being done this way so that, we don't have to do it 2 times, because we'll need to change bylaws multiple times through this process.
Further discussion on Article 7? If not, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have adopted Article 7. Article 8, to do any other business proper to come before said meeting.
Are you gonna do any explanation of the budget, or are you just gonna leave it to vote?
Yeah,
Well,
customarily, there's an information meeting that follows the
That will be-
annual
okay.
business meeting.
Okay.
So I guess that would be up next
Yeah.
then, Jason.
Yeah.
And will you address programming as the context of that discussion? You know, what
No.
maybe,
I wasn't planning on addressing programming.
does the board want to mention anything about what you're seeing as the future of programming for the Career Center?
Lynn, do you want to take that?
I would prefer to wait till
Yeah.
we get to that discussion, but
Well, that's what I meant.
it is a discussion on the budget, so it's basically an open discussion on the budget.
Okay.
At this point, I would entertain a motion to recess until March 7th, on which date member district voters are further warned to vote on the article listed below by Australian ballot at their respective polling places. I suppose it would be good to read into the record Article 9. Article 9, shall the voters of the Patricia A. Hannaford Regional Technical School District approve the school board to expend $3,482,549, which is the amount the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year. It is estimated that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in educational spending at the Patricia A. Hannaford Career Center to be $20,162 per full-time equivalent student. This projected spending per full-time equivalent is 1.3% less than spending for the current year. So that would be the item for Australian ballot. So those in favor, could I hear a motion to recess?
Second.
Those in favor of recessing?
Aye.
Those opposed? We are recessed until the Australian ballot vote on March 7th.
Hey, want to join me up here, Lynn? That way Dick doesn't have to keep panning back and forth with the camera. So at this point, we'll open the budget hearing for the 2017-2018 proposed budget for the Patricia A. Hannaford Regional Technical School District. In front of you, you should have your annual report with the budget. This year's budget reflects a decrease in overall expenditures and a reduction in per pupil spending of 1.3%. So, I was not planning on going through it line by line unless I get a request to do so. I'll just highlight a few things. You'll see that expenditures in general are down 1.39 from last year. And the estimated tuition rate is down 0.74. That's on page 8 of your annual report. Do I have any questions on specific items?
Well, why is the Board of Ed and Treasurer line down so much?
Which lines? Let's see here.
Under expenditures, it's about fourth line down.
Because our spending was less than anticipated last year, our actual, let's see, we don't have the actual for 16, 17. Based on where we are now on the budget, it was projected that we'll be below that $107,000, and it was under the recommendation of the superintendent.
If I might.
Yep.
If you look at the, it's line 2310, 5890, it's payments to in-state school districts. That was in the 2016-17. That was a payment that we made to Virginia Union High School to cover through a purchase. It was a, they paid for the teacher, we collected the tuition, and then we reimbursed them part of that tuition to pay for that teacher. Last year, we determined that that was not beneficial to Virginia Union High School. So what we did is we have taken that person under our budget now. So we're not going to be making that reimbursement. So that individual salary is now showing up in our line item for salary. And that 45,000 is taken out of there, and that's why
I got it.
there's that reduction.
Any additional questions on the budget?
Well, that's it? That you're highlighting? on the budget?
Yeah, I can go through, and if you'd like, I go line by line through it. And I can continue with some of the high points.
I can give
Would you like to do it?
my presentation on that. So Jason has already talked about the reduction in the budget, and we've talked about the reduction in tuition. We have also had we've had a slight increase in our 6-semester average, and the Career Center multiplier is 6 semesters. So we've had a slight increase in that, and that's really that combined with the state reimbursement is what's driving down our tuition. The biggest single factor in why we're reducing is a change in healthcare and how healthcare will be funded as we are now and moving forward. It should be noted that we are presently negotiating both the master agreement for faculty and for staff. I think that there's still room in the budget to make all of those accommodations. This budget does reflect, there's no new reductions in force, and this is a little hard to explain, but when we build a budget, we build that in November and December, and when we offer contracts to teachers, we offer that in March, and last year we had a 1.0 reduction in staff for this FY17 that we have accommodated for, and we are going to continue that staff reduction. And that was a 0.5 basically in agriculture at Virgins Union High School, and a 0.5 reduction in agriculture here at the Hannaford Career Center. And both of those reductions were based on enrollments in those programs. My understanding is the enrollment in Virgins have miraculously improved, so that becomes kind of a budgetary thing. But that's the only reduction in staff that we have from from year to year, and that is just going to be a continuation of the reduction that we actually had this year. So I think that goes to your question about programming.
So we're not gonna see any new programming?
There are no new programs anticipated. There are really no new hires that I'm anticipating at this point, with the exception of myself. And our IT, our longtime IT coordinator is retiring at the end of this year, and we will be replacing that position with a new hire. But there aren't any additional faculty or staff that are anticipated in this budget.
What are you anticipating doing in publicity and marketing that's increasing that? It's not a lot.
Those are again, not an increase, they're just a change of how we are identifying those within the budget. So it looks like it's increasing, but those are new line items.
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, they were all combined, and what we did is we separated those, so that's why it appears in the budget like they're increasing, but they're really not. They're exactly what they were last year. But they were combined into one kind of category, and now they're separated into 3 boxes, if you will.
Okay. Well, I'm hopeful, actually, for the future of the Career Center, that we do see new program offerings, because I think that would be beneficial to our community. I'd love to see the restoration of some programs that have left. I would hope that maybe we could attract them back again. It's specifically in construction and maybe potentially in public safety. So there could be, and certainly in the technical fields.
Thank you. Any questions for Lynn on the budget? All right. Hearing none, we'll close this hearing. Or this, yeah.